Hello, everyone. Welcome. I love it that you're here. Tonight, we're going to talk about, at least for me, it's tonight. I know there is quite a few people. For you, it's just somewhere during the day. Maybe it's the middle of the night. That would be nice if you're here, even if it's the middle of the night. Just let me know. Tonight, we're going to talk about, hey, Hoden. Hey, nice to see you. So nice that you're here. I would love to talk with you about dominance. I think that for being a good dominant, you need a few skills. And I narrowed it down till 7, and that's the ones that I'm going to talk about. So let's go for it. So, well, now I'm super happy that you're here. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm just curious, where are you from? What time is it at your place? Is it the middle of the night? And is it the first time that you're at the live, at the YouTube live or Facebook live? I think you're I'm not sure where you are. Are you watching from YouTube or from Facebook? Just say hello. Would love to get to know you guys. Mr. Timo. So then that means that you're probably somewhere close to me. Maybe also in the Netherlands. I'm in the Netherlands, so that's in Europe. For those who don't know where the Netherlands is, I mean, it's a very small country, isn't it? King Savage, hey, welcome. It's wonderful to see you guys. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm curious, what do you think is a treat? 1 p.m. Central America. Nice to meet you, Elias. Thank you so much for being here with me. What do you think? What is for you a crucial skill for a dominant? What would you say? Hey, to you too. Is there anyone who has? Hey, that's so nice, Skilla Master. Nice to meet you. We go back a long way before I even started this, so that's really nice that you're here. Confidence, absolutely, Houden. I agree. To know what you want in a session, absolutely. 11 a.m. is it for Larry? Larry, so nice to see you here too. Wow, so many of my friends. I'm so happy. Just going to show you. Elias says communication and certainty. Absolutely. Mr. Timo says to know what you want in a session. And Hoden says confidence. Absolutely true. So, well, what I did is I created, first of all, whatever I'm saying is going for dominance. And it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. Because I think that dominance in that sense is always for both of them is the 7 things that I think are crucial for a dominant. I go for both of them. So if you're curious to know, well, here we go. First of all, I think it's crucial that you get to know yourself. It's a very famous saying, actually, and it's so nice that Skilla Master is here because it's a Greek saying. And I know he's into all the old stuff and so, you know, to me, dominance is all about getting the best out of your submissive. And if you want to get the best out of your submissive, you need to get to know her. But before you get to know her, it's so important that you start by knowing who you are. And that means, do you know, are you aware, are you capable of figuring out what is your needs? What are your wants? And there's a difference between needs and wants, right? There are a few things that are crucial for you that are, if it's not in a relationship, there is then a relationship can't work for you. This is something for you. And that's very important. And I so often, I get quite a few questions of dominance also, and they say like, can you just tell me what I need to do to be a good dom? And then I ask them, what do you want? And they don't know. Before you even can get to be a good dominant, you need to figure out what you want. And this requires you to look very carefully and very honest to what you really like. What are your desires? What are your fears? Are there things that are giving you resistance, for instance? And what are your strong points? Do you know what kind of relationship you want? Are you a very nurturing dom? Are you a very crucial one? Are you a sadistic one? So, if one of the things that you really want out of a relationship is, for instance, that you want a submissive to really trust you and fully go for it, do you fit with a brat, for instance? This is something that you need to figure out. If you want to be a good dom and you want to be the best dom that you can be for your submissive, so you can take care of her, so she can be the best version of herself, because in a way, I think this is crucial. This is, in my opinion, this is the purpose of a dominant. I know there are so many different ways that you can see a dominant, but especially a dominant in a DS dynamic, in a dominant and submissive dynamic. So I'm not talking about play partners, but if you're in a dominant and submissive relationship, to me, this is definitely the way to go. So this is something that you need to know about yourself. So for me, this is the first quality. The second one. Before that, I would be nice to show you a few of the comments. Mr. Timo says, and to know the things a sub wants and what she doesn't want to do. That's absolutely true. And we're going to get to that in one of the other points too. Carmelo says, Socrates, yes, know thyself is from Socrates, absolutely. So happy you know that. And there is someone who says, thank you for the videos on the LDR. So glad I found your videos. Well, thank you so much. I'm making it because I hope that I can really inspire people. So it's very nice that people are actually inspired and learn something from it. So thank you. Okay, let's go to the second quality. This to me is also one that separates the good doms from the really, really lousy ones. And it's about taking responsibility. Taking responsibility is something that you can see in the relationship, but also already you can see it if you are not in a relationship, how you are doing in that field. Taking responsibility means, are you responsible for your own happiness? And that means that if something goes wrong in your life, are you very quick in blaming someone else? Or are you willing to look into yourself and in what you're doing and what you can change yourself? Are you taking responsibility to change it? And that means, for instance, if there is something not working between you and your submissive, for instance, she's not listening to you the way you want her to listen, are you strong enough to take responsibility and sit with yourself as well to see how you can change it? And of course, you're also going to sit with your submissive and talk about it together if you can figure it out. But is there something going wrong in your relationship? And is there something that you can change? So this, to me, makes the biggest difference between a good dom and a lousy dom. The doms that come to me and say, some of them just tell them, they tell me like, hey, slave, they start. And they don't respect me, which is also one of the points, by the way. But they're not taking responsibility. They're just saying, I'm a dom, I'm very good, but I can't find anyone, and it's all your fault because you don't see how good I am, right? You all probably heard someone saying something like that. That is not taking responsibility. Taking responsibility is, if you want a partner and you don't have one, that you go out in the freaking world and look for one. First of all, you're going to work on yourself. You're going to find out what you want. And then you're going to take action. You're not going to sit on your ass and wait till there is some beautiful submissive walking by, crawling to you and begging you to please be her master. It's also taking responsibility also means that you take responsibility for the relationship, because you are, as a dominant, you are going to take responsibility of a submissive. And you have to be an owner to really see what that does. I wasn't aware of this piece. And the first time that I dominated someone, I have a puppy, and the first time that I dominated him, I realized how big that responsibility was. And it was actually pretty intense. And I didn't know. And if you want to make sure that you can take that responsibility, you also need to take a look at your life, how you're doing with your responsibilities right now. If you have a submissive, treat her like you would treat, like, for instance, if you're, are there any motor riders here? Especially Harley Davidson owners? That would be great. It sucks, but I can't see the comments that come from Facebook. I'm sorry for that. So if you're looking on Facebook, is there anyone who owns a motorbike? I don't think so. So is there anyone who owns something else that is, hey Noemi, is owning something that you're really, really proud of and that you're careful with? It can also be like an old car. It's not a lease car, but you own one. You say something that you saved for in the past. So, but now probably you can imagine. So just think about, what do you own that you have that you are very careful about? For instance, if you have a Harley Davidson and you paid a lot of money for it, you can imagine that you will always put it in your barn. Make sure that it doesn't suffer from rain, and it doesn't. And if it's, I'm living in a place where there are quite a lot of riders. And when I see them, I mean, there is one spickle of, what's that called? That is oxidated? Rust, it's called, I think, in English. I'm sorry that I didn't know. And what they will do is they will immediately get everything out, all their tools, and they will make sure it's spotless again. That's how much they take care of it. And that is what it means to be owner of something, to take ownership, to take responsibility. Are you willing to do that in your relationship too with your submissive? Because this is part of your relationship, is that you take ownership, you take responsibility, and that you always take care of her. So, and you shouldn't underestimate it, in my opinion. New car as of yesterday. Well, then you know what it means. I mean, if somebody would touch it, you know what you would do, right? I mean, you'd probably like grab someone and fight a bit or whatever, but you will be very, very careful with it and make sure that you park it on 2 parking spots so that nobody can park too close to you, so that nobody can by accident open a door and slam your... I know how that works. I used to own a very, very nice red convertible, and I also used to own a motorbike. Don't have both of them anymore, but well, it will come soon. So just have a look with yourself if you are able, if you're capable of taking responsibility, because that's something that you might need to work on if you don't have one. That's the second quality that I would look at. Now let's go to the third one. This is a very important one also. I mean, they're all equally important. They're not coming in a certain order or something. This is one that I find that I had to learn, and that's the quality of listening. You have to be able to listen, to really listen to what your submissive is saying. You need to... Ooh, we have a Harley owner, Mark. I didn't see that. Well, let's just put him in the... See, Mark says, I own a Harley. So then you know what I'm talking about. Good for you. Let's go back to listening. I was already there. I'm sorry. Sometimes a bit... But listening you need to be able to have a conversation with your submissive in such a way that you can truly listen to what she's saying. And that means that at that moment, you're not in a dominant position maybe, but you're together. Clothes on discussion, we call that. You're together because you need to figure out what her desires are, the ways that she wants to grow, how she wants to be challenged. If she has certain topics that she would love to explore. Are there things that she's afraid of? Are there things that she feels resistance about? So this is the way that you're going to talk with her about limits, of course. But there's another thing. There's also are you able to find out, for instance, how you can help her to grow? In my opinion, and this is something that drives me as a dominant, is making your submissive grow is one of the most fulfilling moments in my life as a mistress. And I hear this this is the same for my master. He loves it when I grow, when he can teach me. But the main thing that he is doing is not teaching by talking, but by listening to me and then reacting on it. And of course, listening comes with patience. So I didn't call patience as one of the qualities, but patience is crucial for a dominant. And you can probably understand why, because especially when you're training your submissive to become a better version of herself, you'll need to be aware that it takes time and that she will do whatever she can, but it might take a lot longer than you thought it would take. And for sure, it will take a lot longer than she or he thought it would take. So patience, oh yes, that's a very good quality. And listening also comes with kindness. So it means not judging someone for what they do. Try to figure out their purpose, why they did it. Listening is something that you can train and you can work on it. Well, so far I talked mainly about listening to the voice and what they're saying, but there is another piece of listening that I would like to address separately, and this is listening to their body. So it means listening, like checking how her body responds. When she says that she agrees with doing something, is she glowing? Do you see her eyes sparkle? If you're discussing a fantasy, how does she react? Can you see her body react? And this is something that you're building up in time, right? I mean, in the beginning, it's a lot harder to get to know. You have to get to know somebody, how she reacts, or he. For me, when my master talks with me about it, and he wants to know if something really turns me on, I'm very open. You can immediately see it in my face if I like something, but also my body is reacting very strongly. So, for instance, my nipples rise, they get stiff, and I'm getting wet. So it's pretty easy to see. Sometimes I'm blushing a bit. Those are the type of things that you can see with me. But there is also, my master will always, all the time, ask me, while we were in a scene, he will always ask me to report. And I have to report on two things. I have to report if he's checking if what he is doing, if it's still turning me on, if I like it, if I'm enjoying it, as long as I'm not in subspace, of course. But as long as I'm not in subspace, he will always ask me to report on how he's feeling. So every now and then he checks in and he asks me for a pussy checks, and he asked me for two numbers. The first number is the number that is how I physically react. So sometimes I use my fingers and I'm checking myself if he's not doing it. Usually he does it himself. That's one of the things that he can check. But there is another thing that he cannot check, and that is how turned on I am in my head. No, you say the body can't lie, but it's not entirely true. But because it is possible to turn a body on while your mind is busy with other things, or you're worried, or it just doesn't feel right. And that's completely possible. So that's why my master always asks, because I'm reacting on Larry, and he says the body can't lie. no, the body can't lie, but there can be a discrepancy between how your body reacts and how your mind reacts. So this is something to really take into account. And that's why I'm so emphasizing that listening is so key. So yeah, like Air Techie says, it's the constant flow of communication. That's absolutely true. And this is for I mean, guys, we're playing on the edge, right? So we're playing with fire. That's what we love. That's what excites us. But that therefore it's very important that you keep communicating with each other. So this is a key quality for dominant. And you keep communicating, that you're not assuming that whatever you do is right, and that you're not assuming that as long as she doesn't complain, that everything is okay. So just keep on communicating with them. Okay, well, let's go to the fourth quality. This is also one that gives away the wannabe doms. And I'm a bit hard on them, but I found, especially on FetLife, there are quite a few ones that just came to me and said they're asking me for advice, but they don't want to listen to it. And the reason why is because they think that they know better, but they're not even willing to consider that there is another option. And that way, if you have this stuck mindset, it's so hard. You're a human being. If you don't grow, you die, right? And we're like plants. If you don't grow, you die. Sticking is not, that doesn't exist. So this is so important. So I would suggest that if you stop learning, you have to keep on learning. First of all, your relationship is evolving. So you're also learning in your relationship, but there is so much that you can learn. You can be like 40 years in the lifestyle and still there are so many things that you can learn and you can try, and there's always stuff to learn. It's fun to learn, but it requires a learning mindset. So that means that you are capable of learning. It also means that if your submissive says that it's that something in the scene didn't work well, that it's also something for you to see how you can improve in it. And that, for instance, if it means that she says that how you handled the whip was too hard to handle, that you're going to just do research on how you can do it differently. Or maybe you're going to follow a class. It doesn't matter how often you did it. I read books for a second and third times just because I want to learn and I want to keep on learning. Okay, so I'm gonna check a few comments because I see a lot of things. Dominant Man is in. Hello, Dominant Man. He is one of my earliest fans. It's so nice to see you there. And then Mark says, my switch and I can read each other pretty well emotionally and physically. Wow, that's so wonderful. And that is one of the wonderful things. This is one of the things that I learned. I was in vanilla relationships all the time, but only when I started in this relationship, I actually learned how to read bodies and even how to read my own body, because I also didn't know how to do that. So yeah, absolutely. I'm so happy for you. Benjamin says, it's my first time to hear you. That's wonderful, Benjamin. Thank you. I'm so happy you're here. And he asks me, somebody else asks me, Elias says, what's your name on FetLife? It's Kinky Sam Jones. It's what I use everywhere. So also on FetLife. I'm not in the States. I'm in the Netherlands. So you can see it's 8:30 here. It's 8:30 p.m. So, and that being on the edge is the heart of the turn on, says Air Techie, but it's always possible to fall off the edge and both partners must be very careful. Absolutely. Yeah. And Mike says, life is a journey. You have to learn as you grow. It's absolutely true. But there are people that are a bit stubborn when it comes to learning because they think they know it all. And this is also, I'm also, the reason that you're here is so cool because you're here because you want to learn, right? And it doesn't matter because 99% of what I'm going to say you might have heard before, but it doesn't matter. There might be just that one thing that you thought, oh, or maybe you forgot about it, or it was, I don't know, out of your mind for a while. And this is the reminder that you needed. If you pay attention, there is always something to learn. So Eratiki says, always strive to do things better. Think of yourself as an artist working towards your next masterpiece. That's beautiful. And this is that's even true if you have a monogamous relationship and you're working on it together. This is your masterpiece, but it's just a lifetime masterpiece. Wonderful. And now Mr. Stay Fly says, you can change the world by just paying attention. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I'm just gonna leave the personal questions because at the end I'll have something. Yes, I am born in the Netherlands. I'm not from South Africa. Thank you. So Dark Faye says, my partner is more experienced in the sexual BDSM, and I have done a ton more research on the relationship aspect. How do you introduce that side while being a slave type? Ooh, that's complicated question because I'm not entirely sure. I would like to keep it for now, but let's because that will take me a lot more time. So if you're okay with it, I would like to finish this part of it, and then when we have time, please keep your message. I'm gonna see the comments, so I'm gonna keep it here too, and then let's see if I can have some time about it because I will need a little bit more time to figure it out. To answer it. So there's another one. Let's get to the fifth quality. It's about self-confidence and decisiveness. Now, the whole time I was talking about, right, like you need to learn, and your communication, which are all they're qualities, they can help in every relationship. Now, this is something that actually makes a little bit of a difference between the master submissive relationship and normal vanilla relationships. You are the leader in your relationship, and your submissive expects you to lead in the parts of your relationship that you expect, that you decided on, right? I mean, it could be that you just are submissive in the bedroom. Then it's totally fine if you have the then it's only in the bedroom, but then she will expect you to lead, or they will. If he's a male submissive, he will expect you as a mistress or whatever. I mean, we have so many types of combinations right now. I'm talking about male dominance and female subs because this is my relationship, so my experience in that. But I am very aware that there are all kinds of combinations, and it's a slip that I'm using she instead of they. I hope you forgive me. I'm not excluding anyone in this. But if you made the decision that one of you is going to lead in the relationship, then the submissive is often looking for that safety that she doesn't have to think about and that she doesn't have to decide on what to do. So it really helps if you are self-confident enough that you can take decisions. And yes, it may be that you take a wrong decision. So be it. You won't know it until you do it. The whole point is that the submissive, usually, she will trust you that you will do what is good for her. And it may happen. I mean, my master also made decisions sometimes. And not even, I mean, and it's not on purpose. But it happens. We're human beings. We make mistakes. But the whole point is that if you keep on doubting, then it's really hard to take that leadership. So dare to make decisions. And this is also something that you can train in real life. How are you with making decisions? If it's one of the things that if you can train yourself to be decisive in the rest of your life, it will really help you in your relationship as well. This is one that I always often give as advice to starting dominance. Just pick one item in life, one part of life, and start making the decisions. Just train yourself. I mean, this is training yourself to be a dominant. There's one thing that that I forgot to say, and I think it's important. It's about the listening, and so I want to get back to that. If you if there is 4 things, right? There is needs of the submissive. There is needs of the dominant, right? A dominant has needs, a submissive has needs. A dominant has wants, and a submissive has wants. What is the thing that you say is the main... What is the most important thing in a dominant and submissive relationship? What goes first? The dominant's needs, the submissive needs, the dominant's wants, or the submissive wants? What is the right order? Just give it to me. I'm sorry I can't read the Facebook comments, unfortunately. I do like likes, though, the way. If you like it, just hit the like button for me, please. In the meantime. Air Techie says, actually the sub. Yes, okay. Interesting. The order that works for the relationship, says Mark. And Mike says, the dom needs. Mr. Timo says, what she doesn't want is important to me. Okay. Now, there is a difference between needs and wants. And needs, the needs are, I mean, that's like the first level in Maslow's pyramid, if you're aware with that, right? So that's the thing that you need to thrive in your relationship and to thrive as a person. You have things that you need to thrive as a dominant. The submissive has needs. The master has and the submissive and the dominant both have needs. What I think that in a relationship, in a dominant submissive relationship, that the submissive, yeah, Odin, you're right. The submissive needs are the most important. She says, I heard that in one of my videos. Really good student. Yeah, both needs are important. That's true. But what you see is that in a relationship with a dominant and a submissive, that the dominant is often... And I thought that I was the one that needed to take care of the dominant, right? But when I started to dominate, I was the one, as the dominant, I was the one taking care. It was like being a mom. I had no clue. But, and this is really nice. What Eriteki is saying now, that is really nice. What is, I'm not sure. I think you're a guy, right, Eriteki, but I'm not sure. So I think what he says, a master should be like the good shepherd. That is the bargain the sub gives up control in exchange for care. This is part of taking responsibility. You're taking responsibility of someone. And that means that the needs of the person you own is going first. So the submissive needs, in my opinion, go for the dominant needs. Last time I checked. I'm happy you checked there, Techie. So this is the right order that I would say. It is the submissive needs, then the master's needs, then the master's wants. And what the submissive wants, that comes all the way in the end. That's really not important. Although I see in a lot of relationships that, I mean, it's just more fun to play with someone that really wants to play, right? So it's more that the master's wants, one of the master's wants is to fulfill the submissive's wants. Let's put it this way. That's often how it works. So this is, for me, is crucial to see this if you really want to be a good dominant, because you need to earn that submission, that somebody surrenders to you. They will do that because they trust you to take care of them. And that means that you always see what your needs are, and they will take care of you in that. Okay? Okay, let's see if I have... Okay, here's another one on what I said about self-confidence and no one likes to follow an indecisive leader. No. And the whole point is, if you're not deciding, then it's very hard to follow because you just can't see where somebody is going. So this is also a reason why it's good to be decisive. It's okay if you make a bad decision. You can always return it. You're the boss. You're in charge. And if you see it's not working, but you take the decision. And of course, there are safe words and all. But we have 3 safe words. We have orange and red, or yellow and red. It's so annoying. We started with red and yellow, but the point is, it's like traffic lights, right? But the traffic light system, so you have green, yellow, and red in the States. But in Holland, we're not talking about yellow traffic lights. We're talking about orange traffic lights. So the first time that I was using orange, I was using the safe word for please slow down, which should have been yellow. And I was shouting, orange, orange, orange. And my master just pretended that he didn't know. And I just couldn't remember what it was anymore. And at one point he asked me, do you maybe mean yellow? And then we decided that we're going to change it to orange. But what we agreed on is that if I am saying yellow or orange in this case, my master can still decide if he's going to slow down. He will always check in with me, and he will see what I need, but then the decision is his. And usually he will decide that that he will slow down a bit, but it is his decision. And this is also to really, I gave up that power too. And the only exception is red. As soon as I say red, the scene is over. And I have another safe word, but let's not go in there now. Here's a nice one. Sometimes as a dom, it is more rewarding to watch your submissive orgasm multiple times. Even if I don't, my needs still get met. Yes, I agree on that. And that's wonderful. And this is what I see with a lot of doms. As soon as their submissive thrives, and that's what makes them tick. The funny thing is that because my master has the same, but I really don't need to come as well, as long as I can serve my master. And sometimes it makes me, for me, it's challenging. So my master sometimes uses it to challenge me that he is not coming, because he wants me to start dealing with that and not feel guilty about it. Because in a way, there is also freedom in that I'm daring to let go of that, because he's in charge. And if he decides he's not going to orgasm, then it's fine. It should be fine for me. And I shouldn't push him to go somewhere else. Saud, you're new. Nice to meet you and welcome here. I'm already way ahead, but that's okay. Okay, here we go. At least you're not using tulip, windmill, and wooden shoe. No, that would be hard, huh? Tabasco sauce. You mean as a safe word? I don't know. I like Tabasco, by the way. You may have seen the video about it. Okay, let's get back to topic, because otherwise it's going to be too late. And as you all probably know, at 9 I have to be ready, because then my master wants me. Okay, so the 6th quality. Right on schedule. The 6th quality, respect. I'm talking about respect, because respect, you need to respect your submissive. It doesn't matter how much you humiliate them, if you call them a pig or a slut or a whore. If you don't respect them, there's no way that she's going to respect you. And there's also, if you don't respect them, there's also no way that you can humiliate them. That's what I found out. The only reason why I love humiliation is one of my kinks. I really love that, because it makes me feel so vulnerable, but also so seen. But my master can do that because I know that he respects me. And respect, first of all, you need to respect your submissive, but respect is earned as a dominant. You cannot force respect out of a submissive. And the horrible doms that are online, I mean, on FetLife, there are so many of them. It's shocking, and it really makes me sad. And it's one of the reasons that I actually started this, because I think if you really start to understand the heart of what mastery is, what dominance is, what a true master is, then there is so much that you can add to your relationship and what you can get out of it. But respect needs to be earned. In other words, if you go to a submissive and you start with saying, hey, slave, And you have no idea how often I hear this. You may have seen that people are not putting that under my YouTube channel. That's what you think. Maybe they do, but I remove them all because I don't want this as an example. I don't want any negativity on my channel. And that's why I'm ruthlessly moderating my comments. I read them all, and everything that's negative, I'm going to take it away, because I believe that that respect is earned, and you cannot expect your submissive just call you master. It's something that you need to discuss, and you need to earn it. So, and that starts with respecting her and respecting yourself, by the way. So, okay, well, last but not least, I'm seeing that there are 3 new comments. Hello. I've seen Felix saw this Tabasco sauce thing. And then hello from Eric. Hello, nice to meet you too, Eric. Air Techie, there's a difference between being a dom and basic butthole, to put it nicely. Yes, it is. Master is always an earned title, absolutely. Mr. Timo, do you have nice examples of good humiliations? I do, but I would suggest you check the videos, because I have a few videos about humiliation, and there are quite a few examples in it. And of course, you can always, also what you can do is become my Patreon. I would love you to be my Patreon anyway, because I would love you to support me. But I'm putting assignments in my Patreon. So there are also assignments about humiliation. So if you want, you can check those out. Esada, nice to meet you. Love, I thought you were sick, so I wasn't expecting you, but I'm so happy that you're here. Just going to show you. This is Esada Sin. If you're male submissive, then you probably know who she is. But even if you are not a male submissive, but you are a male dominant, there is so much that you can learn from her. Check her video. This was the advertisement for Esada, but I really appreciate her work, and I just saw her uploading another nice video today. I love what she's doing. Michaela or Maika, I'm not sure what that's called. We would say Michaela, but I think with your last name, you're probably American, so maybe. Patreon is Patre. I can show it in here. I'm not sure. Maybe you can see it. Patreon.com/KinkySamJones. Here. This is my Patreon link. I think you can see it. I wouldn't miss it. You're the one. I've never seen you before, love. Where can I see more of you? Well, Eric, you are now actually on my YouTube channel. So that's where you can find more. My YouTube channel is called Kinky Assignments. So here is more that you can see. Freedom of speech is overrated. I don't agree with you. No, but I do agree with you. And I think you're reacting on the fact that I say that I'm moderating my comments. People are very welcome to say whatever they want, but they're not saying it under my videos. This is my domain. So then you have to adjust to the rules that I set. So you have freedom of speech, but it's within rules. So it comes with respect and everything. So thank you for this addition. I agree. Somebody loves me. I love you back. I don't know what your name is, but thank you so much. Alex Troy, my slave is asking me to spit on her mouth in public, and I have now no idea how to manage the situation. It might be a good idea to do a Q&A one day, because then I have a little bit more time to get into this. For now, I would like to finish the qualities of a dominant. This is the last one, and that's to laugh and have fun. The word for it is, I think, is called self-mockery. Don't take yourself too serious. This is my main advice, because you're gonna mess up. Sometimes, no matter how experienced you are, there will always be situations that you just fuck up, and that's totally fine. And it comes with respecting yourself, respecting your submissive. It has to do with the consent that you have, listening to her, to them. It has to do with the fact that you're human beings and that you can mess up, and that there's always you can learn, and it's okay. And it's not a bad thing to just what's the word? I can't find out the word. Acknowledge. To just acknowledge that you messed up. It happens. So what? The world's not gonna end when you do. And it makes, I mean, the whole point is that if you're afraid to make mistakes, then it's really hard to make decisions. So your relationship will be helped a lot more if you're decisive and you mess up every now and then. And it's okay. And what you do is you just but you keep on having control of the situation. So if something happens that is not going as planned, you are the one who's fixing it. So you make the decision on what to do with it. That's all. And afterwards, you can just laugh about it and have fun. If you keep this as your guidelines in your relationship, you're going to be an amazing dom. So this is what I wanted to say to you. I'm curious, is there anyone who said, I'm missing someone and I would love to have this one with it? As a submissive, is it possible to find a dom? Of course it's possible. Half the fun is trying again after you mess up. Absolutely, Air Techie. Let's put this one as a one. Amazing. I love this. So, well, this was what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found it valuable. I did. So more videos. Yeah, I'm not done yet because I have two fun things. I have to find out how I do this because this is called a wheel. I'm having a wheel of names. Share screen. Let's see. Application window. Where is it? No, entire screen. Okay, wait. Yeah, I only have one screen, so that's a bit hard to do. So you'll have to believe me that I have a wheel of fortune, and I'm going to spin it, and there are 4 different things in it. It's an ask me anything, or show a toy, or a country. I'm not going to do this, but I'm going to keep it for the ask me anything. And in this, we are always looking for new BDSM ideas. Have you a suggestion for finding? Well, then I would definitely suggest you go to my Patreon because there is a lot. We're always learning, absolutely. I would like to now answer a question. And the first question that I saw was the question that... Where is she? My partner, I want to show this one. I'm going to answer this question for now. My partner is more experienced in the sexual BDSM, and I have done more research on the relationship aspect. How do you introduce that side while being a slave type? Well, Dark Fae Dragon Witch, I love your name, by the way. My suggestion would be in a clothes-on discussion. Even if you're a slave, and that means that he has total control, it means that you can still request to discuss something with you. And the only thing is that what you do is put a request if you can have a conversation with your dom, with your master, on this aspect of you. What I would suggest to do is make sure that you have a clear why you want it, because then you can just discuss it with him in this way. I have a tip for you if you want on how you can do this discussion. It's a great tip for any relationship if you have a discussion, especially when the discussion gets a bit overheated, and that's called a counsel. I use it even with my children, and the reason why is because it gives both parties a possibility to talk without being interrupted. A counsel works as follows. First of all, you take something that you can use as a talking stick. It can be a pen, it can be a wooden spoon, it can be a whip, it can be anything as long as you decide that this is your talking stick. What you're going to do is you start and you're going to explain why you want this. You're going to explain what you want, very clear, very honest, without being afraid of what he thinks of it. And what you will do is, as long as you hold the pen, you are the one talking. And then when you're done, you say you're done talking and you give him the pen, and that means that he can talk or think. And it doesn't matter, but as long as he keeps the pen, he's the one talking. And this will give you a great tool to communicate with each other without being afraid that somebody's going to shoot you for anything. So this is how I would address it. And then make sure that you get very clear what it means for you, and that he gets the time to actually figure out with himself why is it, what he thinks about it. And it might be that he will need a couple of days just to do some research. And this is how I would do it. Thank you so much for your question. I hope this was a valuable answer. I'm not going to answer more questions for now. But I would like to read you something. I created a very cool pot. I need to pick it. Wait. I'm going to show you. Because I thought this is nice to, how do I remove this again? Can I? I don't know. Yeah, here. Yes. Hide. Okay. Banners. Here is the quote of the day. Look, I made a cool pot, and there is like 20 or so awesome quotes that I would like to share with you at the end of a live session. And here's the one for today. A man can grab a woman by her hair, throw her on the bed, rip her clothes off. Sure, he can tie her, be rough, call her a slut. And if she's into it, it can be fun. But that's not dominance. True dominance is whispering in her ear and watch her obediently remove her clothing. Watching as she kneels before you, offering her entire self to you. Showing her true self without embarrassment, shame, or fear. Wishing you all a wonderful night. And I want to thank you all so much for being here. If you want to have more time with me, then I would love to see you on my Patreon. That's also the way to support me. I posted the comment already. I'm going to do it again. Patreon.com/Pinky Sam Jones. This is my link. I would love to see you. I'm still thinking about how I can make this really, really exciting for you. So wishing you all a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for being with me. Love you all.